What up, what up, what up? This is live from 95. It's your boy Gabriel and today we're going to talk about some of the younger artists, give y'all some attention. We're going to set the vibes with XXXTentacion's new song, Bad.
Hey.
Fair use, no copyright infringement intended. That was XXX Bad off his upcoming album Skins. Which we're looking forward to. And again, RIP XXX. All his fans, I know your fans are looking forward to this upcoming album. But yeah, new music from a lot of them posthumous. I guarantee you I said that wrong word.
It's fine.
It's definitely not posthumous. Alright, so according to Google, it's posthumous. So my apologies. A lot of them are posthumous. XXX and Lil Peep.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll be checking those out. Trippie Redd dropped a new project as well, which we'll be reviewing / reacting / breaking down a little bit on. But before we get into that, there was some interesting hip-hop related news this week regarding Joyner Lucas's ADHD project.
Yes, I was waiting on this one to talk to you about this.
Yeah, we were holding it for the podcast. So I recently seen an interview with Rosenberg from Hot 97 and Joyner Lucas. Okay. And they were talking about, where's Joyner Lucas, where he came from, his career, whatever. We're fans of his, so we know that whole story. Yeah. But what's going on with Joyner Lucas now? So he's talking about, the very, very, very overhyped collab with M. So Joyner's basically like, this is Stan caliber Eminem with regards to storytelling. He's saying you haven't heard M rap like this since you've heard him on Stan. He's putting the expectation way up there, so I'm super hyped for this track.
That's what artists do, though. I'm looking forward to the track too.
I'm really excited for it though because Joyner's such a great storyteller. Yeah. And if M is really going, he never stopped being a great storyteller, but Stan is untouchable. So to hear him say that he's kind of back to that's
cool.
Type, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, the ADHD project, as he called it.
What do you mean project?
So, Joyner said it's not an album.
What do you mean it's not an album?
It's a project. So, it's a collection of songs.
What?
Which sounds like an album, except he's not dropping it as an album. No. So, what he's going to do is some next shit. It's a rollout. So, what he said is, a lot of times he feels like when a project drops, when an album drops, right? It drops all at once, and each song doesn't get the attention and play that it deserves. So with ADHD, it's basically a collection of songs that he will drop periodically under the name of, the ADHD project, pretty much. So we have I Love, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they asked him, how is there a time frame that he has in mind? He basically said no. He's just going to drop the song and let it rock.
Single after single, and eventually we'll have enough songs to make an album, and that's when he's just going to drop the album.
No. From what Joyner said, it's just going to be single after single after single
until we come into an album.
They're all going to be under this ADHD
Yeah, but
project.
how do we purchase this ADHD?
He wasn't clear on that.
By purchasing
he
the
just
singles?
basically said it'll be, like single after single after single. And as far as timing goes, he's going to kind of just see, he's going to let each song play out and decide based on that when to drop. It's an interesting rollout. It's definitely different.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. When is the Eminem and Joyner?
No idea. Okay. He's still letting I Love rock. So whenever he feels like dropping that record, I guess we'll get it.
I guess.
If that is the next record coming out, which I hope it is, the way it's being spoken about and hyped up.
Probably sometime next year.
So that's interesting. Looking forward to that. He also said something interesting, which kind of has me concerned. He said that in order to get to where he's at, he felt like he had to make the type of records he's been making. Now that he has the exposure and the acclaim, it's going to allow him to make songs differently, that sound differently, which reminds me of my first impression of I Love. Right? Initially, it took me a while to warm up to that song because I hated the hook. the overall sound of it wasn't it didn't grab me the way other Joyner tracks has grabbed me. So I'm curious what the sound of this ADHD, of this post mainstream, I guess, Joyner is gonna sound like.
I mean, he's an amazing artist. The hook may have been a little displeasing to the ears. You maybe got turned off by the hook. Again, it's a first single or whatever he wants to call it for this project. But I'm curious to see exactly what direction he goes to, and I hope he doesn't stray too far from what we loved about him. I mean,
I don't think he will, based on the way he's talking about this M collab. So obviously,
I feel like Joyner's always gonna have that stuff, but he might turn a little bit and be a little bit more commercial now.
I just hope so. Not too much, because even some of his records on his previous albums have like a commercial sound to them, but Joyner has a very unique sound about him that's commercial, but at the same time Joyner.
Well, like, I love it is kind of like that song, right? Because the verses, he has his bars. He is talking about something.
I think one song that I would probably use that as an example of that, and let me look it up, from his last album, is this one, We Gonna Be Alright. I'm gonna play a snippet quick. This is off Joyner Lucas's 2017 project, 508-507-2209. A great album, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. It's We Gonna Be Alright.
We gon' be alright. I give you a chance, even though you're not my type. I did some things that I ain't proud of, but I'll never leave your side. I give you a chance. Okay, I'll never leave your side. You had some shit that you were going through and you wouldn't even cry. Said if I take advantage of you, you won't be so nice. You told me next time it won't be no next time. Look me in the eye. And I gave you a chance, even though you're not my type. You told me I ain't gonna let you hate and let you spend the night. But treated me like the other house that you might fuck sometime.
Right, so that has like a commercial type appeal to it, but it sounds very like it's still Joyner. So if it's stuff like that, then I'm all for it. But we'll see. It'll be interesting.
I love it, and I can understand your opinion on the hook.
It grew on me. Yeah, just the hook is.
I'm curious to see exactly where we go in the direction.
I love to hate that hook.
There you go.
I love, but I do love Joyner Lucas, so I'm definitely looking forward to, whatever comes of this ADHD project. Definitely looking forward to the next track. Joyner, hopefully drop it soon, please. And with that, we'll move on to the new music from some of the younger artists. Lil Peep. I know, rest in peace, Lil Peep. Condolences to, his family and fans. I know he had a very die-hard fan base similar to XXX. I know he passed away in 2017 due to an accidental overdose. And I've never listened to his music, to be honest. And we've talked about this on this podcast before. Yeah. A lot of the new generation artists, I have judged them by their cover. Like if I see the face tats and colored hair, I'm like, oh, you're mumble. I'm not gonna pay you no mind. But I've been more open-minded and trying to see what about some of these artists like, XXXTENTACION and Lil Peep, what is drawing so many people to them on a level that's different from the mumble rappers, because the mumble rappers are getting mainstream success, but it seems like these artists have a different type of following.
You got those diehard fans, man.
Right? So to me, if you have that, then there needs to be something there.
Something, right? Yeah.
So
I feel the same way.
So I've recently, and unfortunately, I R was into XXX before he passed. I wasn't very much aware of his music. I was aware of him, and R put me on to XXX. Unfortunately, shortly after he passed away, and that Question Mark album was great.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. So with that said, Lil Peep, I thought he had more work. He actually only had one album while he was alive.
And then this is the second album, right?
Yes, his posthumous album, Come Over When You're Sober Part 2. I haven't had time to delve into the full album, but I did listen to the single that's been released, Life is Beautiful.
Yeah, I heard it with you.
And I do have to say that single has made me want to explore the rest of this album. Yeah. I was very surprised.
Yes.
Lil Peep, I understand where his fan base comes from. I understand where the connection is off of just this one song. If this is any indicator of what his overall content was, then I get it. I do get it, and I understand So, you know, respect to Lil Peep. I feel like he was an artist we lost too soon, similar to XXX. But with that said, life is beautiful. I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard it. I definitely want to get into it. This song is deep. It's beautiful. It stays true to the title. So let's get into it. The first verse. I know that it hurts sometimes, but it's beautiful. Working every day, now you're bleeding through your cuticles. Passing through a portal as you're sitting in your cubicle. Isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. I know it hurts sometimes, but it's beautiful. So right off the jump, he's recognizing the pain that comes with life. And then he's talking about your everyday person, right? You're working every day, bleeding through your cuticles. So those of y'all who are out there working with your hands, on the physical grind, like till your cuticles are bleeding, so your fingertips are torn up, right? And then for those in your offices, passing through a portal as you're sitting in your cubicle, that portal, I took it as a few things. It could be that the monitor that you're staring at all fucking day.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
Right? The portal that you're sitting in your cubicle. Or a lot of times, especially if you hate where you're working, the portal in your mind that you could create while you're in your cubicle, like wishing you were somewhere else or daydreaming or whatever, right? Just going through the motions. And it's funny that he says these things that aren't exactly
beautiful.
Yeah, they're not beautiful. They're not great things about life.
Finds it in a way beautiful.
But isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. So is he finding the beauty in working hard, I guess? Like it's very open to interpretation, and I love that about these bars. He could also be saying it in a
sarcastic
satire way, right? Sarcastically, like, oh, this is life. Isn't life beautiful? Like, as a joke.
Yeah.
Almost like kind of like a Joker-esque.
See, and I like back to what you said about bars like this that open for interpretation, because I feel like depending on where you're at, you relate it. You'll come up a different way. Like maybe there's one of you guys who are listening right now who hear that bar and interpret it different because of what you're going through. And it's great because it's not blunt. It's not like, oh, I'm drinking cold water. It's like, okay, he's being straightforward. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he says it in a way where you don't know. Like, it's kind of like, is the cup half full or half empty?
Yeah, I love that, what you said. Like, the lyrics, the meaning of the lyrics could change based on where you're at, your mind state.
And again, that's what any artist...
And, I mean, honestly, we're going to go through every bar of this song because this song really grabbed me. It really grabbed my attention. And, again, it made me understand, I guess, the power that Lil Peep had and the connection he made with his fans. So, moving on, he continues, trying to keep your cool at your grandfather's funeral, finding out eventually the feeling wasn't mutual. You were not invited because you're nothing like the usual. Isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. So that's a really sad scenario, right? He's trying to keep his cool at his grandfather's funeral, finding out eventually the feeling wasn't mutual. So, obviously he's torn up, right, about his grandfather's funeral. But finding out that the feeling wasn't mutual, now does this mean that he finds out his grandfather didn't feel the way as him, or the family overall didn't feel the same way about him? I feel like it was the latter. It was the family that didn't feel the same way about him, because he says, he wasn't invited because you're nothing like the usual.
Yeah, because your family either looks at you as like, the oddball.
Yeah, the black sheep, the outcast. Mm-hmm. But even then, that one line, you were not invited because you're nothing like the usual, that could mean like anyone who's not, who doesn't fit in society's box, right? Like anyone who's different or who is unique in their own way and is their own person that doesn't necessarily fit what, society's standards are, you're not invited. And that can, obviously in this sense he's talking about the case of the funeral, but if you want to open it up more, like, you're not invited because you're nothing like the usual. Like, you can't be a part of things because you're not what society deems as normal or acceptable, right? Mm-hmm. And I know with Lil Peep, that was a big thing. After actually reading these bars, I read a little bit, and Peep used to tattoo himself in the house. I believe it was the garage, if I'm not mistaken, and please forgive me if I got that fact wrong, but I know in his home, somewhere in his home, he would tattoo himself. And he was losing friends because, parents of other kids would be like, look at Lil Peep and like, oh, he's out the box, he's too different, he's this and that. You know what I mean? So it was a very personal line for Lil Peep as well in that bar. But again, something you can open up. And again, isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. Like, there's nothing beautiful about that situation. So this one I would definitely take as more as he's being sarcastic, like,
or maybe he's still just finding beauty in the meaning.
Yeah, you could do that, actually. Yeah, like nothing like the usual, I guess, finding beauty in that. Yeah, I am different and I'm not unique. Invited. Yeah. So that's a great point too. And then he continues, you want to see your friends but you're stuck inside a hospital. Doctor walks in and he tells you that it's terminal, tumor in your brain, and they're saying it's inoperable. Isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. So again, describing this very dark scenario and then saying, isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. Anyone who's had to deal with a terminal or a chronic illness and has spent time, in the hospital can definitely relate to this line. But again, like where's the beauty of that is very difficult to see.
Agree.
I think the satire, the sarcasm of it is more obvious here. But yeah, even this, just posing these scenarios and then making you question, like, isn't life beautiful? Is it? Like, is that what he's trying to say? And then he goes on to end the first verse, and he says, they'll kill your little brother and they'll tell you he's a criminal. They'll fucking kill you too, so you better not get physical. Welcome to America. The type of shit is typical. Isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. So now he goes into a whole nother bag here, right? They'll kill your little brother and they'll tell you he's a criminal. They'll fucking kill you too, so you better not get physical. Like, that brother could open up to anything. That could be anyone. That could be a neighbor. That could be a friend. That could be a literal brother. Anybody, and they'll tell you he's a criminal. So with all these, especially in recent times with all these cop shootings, cops shooting innocent people, they'll shoot you and then file the report and say they'll create this story, right? So that's what he's saying, right? And then they'll kill you too, so you better not get physical, and they'll kill you too, so you can't even retaliate, right? Like, what can you do if you're in that situation? We can't. And then the hard-hitting bar, welcome to America, the type of shit is typical. Facts. There's been multiple cases, not just cops, but recently there's been how many mass shootings in the last 2 weeks?
Too many to count.
It's fucking ridiculous, right? It's sad because this shit is typical now in America. Isn't life beautiful? I think that life is beautiful. That's just deep. And verse 2 is short. It's short, and he switches it up a little bit here. He says, wake up in the morning, now you're doing the impossible. Find out what's important, now you're feeling philosophical. When I die, I'll pack my bags, move somewhere more affordable. Isn't life horrible? I think that life is horrible.
That could be the realization now that he's like, you know what? It's like a little journey, that song, right? Talking about how you're trying to be positive and you're finding beauty in the madness. But then at the end of the day, it breaks you down and you're like, you know what? Remember Joey says it, I'm tired of being strong. Please let me be weak for a minute.
Yeah. That was a hard Joe Budden bar right there. Well, it's interesting because he says, right, wake up in the morning, now you're doing the impossible. So it's just like, now you're doing what everybody said you couldn't do. Find out what's important, now you're being philosophical. So it's like you come to this realization of what's important, and you start to think about things like the way this song is thinking about it, right? It's very philosophical. Like, is that whole question, isn't life beautiful? Like, it's a hell of a fucking question, right? So in the first verse, he's presenting these horrible scenarios and he's like, isn't life beautiful? And in this one, at least this first portion of the first verse, we'll see what the rest of the verse holds for us. He's presenting this kind of positive outlook, and then he's like, isn't life horrible? I think that life is horrible.
Yeah.
But then when I die, I'll pack my bags, move somewhere more affordable. That I just thought is funny, especially living in New York.
Yeah.
When I die, I'll pack my bags and move somewhere affordable. I don't think
he was, coming from New York, yeah.
Yeah, I took that as, fucking cost of living is crazy. I'll be able to afford to live when I die. You know what I mean? And even that could be a metaphor for something, right? You can move somewhere more affordable, like not necessarily literal cost of living, but what about the metaphorical cost of living?
Yeah.
Right? Like being somewhere more affordable. It's crazy. And he continues, you think she's adorable. She thinks that you're intolerable. You think you can do it, but your chances are improbable. Once you feel unstoppable, you run into an obstacle. Isn't life comical? I think that life is comical. So he switches it up again. Right? And this scenario it's comical in like the kind of funny where you laugh because you can't cry type thing, right? So obviously there's this girl who, he has feelings for, but those feelings aren't mutual, right? She thinks you're intolerable. And you think you can do it, but you have no chance, right? Chances are improbable. And it seems like once you feel unstoppable, that's when you start running into obstacles. How true is that, yo?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like as soon as you hit your stride, right, you're doing good for a while, you think everything is all, everything's all fucking roses and sunshine, and then all of a sudden something pops up, or you realize something, some kind of obstacle comes along your way. And he woke up that morning doing the impossible, right, in the beginning of the verse. So isn't life comical? Like, what I'm saying? Like the irony of life. And then the third verse is another short verse, and he says, and if you ever need a friend, then you got me. And in the end, when I die, would you watch me? What if I try suicide? Would you stop me? Would you help me get a grip, or would you drop me? Run away, make friends with the moon. Why you tripping? You'll be with your friends soon. There comes a time when everybody meets the same fate. I think I'm gonna die alone inside my room. So these bars are extremely haunting.
Yeah.
Given, obviously, Lil Peep's fate. Yeah. But again, he poses these questions like, if you ever need a friend, then you got me. And in the end, when I die, would you watch me? And if I try suicide, would you stop me? So ask that, because mental health in hip hop has always been an issue. We've kind of touched on this before. People go through shit. So if you felt like a friend was kind of leaning that way or in a rough situation, would you stop them? Would you reach out? You know what I mean? Would you help me get a grip, or would you drop me? So would you help out? Would you just drop them? Would you let them do whatever they were gonna do, right? Run away, make friends with the moon. While you're tripping, you'll be with your friends soon. It comes a time everybody meets the same fate. I think I'm gonna die alone inside my room. So it's a very sad ending to that whole thing, right? But again, it begs the question: what was the meaning of the prior verses when he's questioning, whether his life is beautiful or whether it's horrible or comical? And life is all these things.
Yeah.
So I thought that this was a I really enjoyed this record, and this was my introduction to Lil Peep. And again, after hearing this, I definitely want to explore the rest of this album, and I'll likely go back and listen to his first album, Come Over When You're Sober Part 1. But yeah, I see it. So all the fans of Lil Peep that are listening to this, just know that we get it. Yeah, if this is the type of stuff he's talked about and delivered, it's important, and I get why people connected and were drawn to him, and he had such a following. The next thing we wanted to cover,
on to XXXTENTACION. I know he's got an album coming out called Skins. We're both looking forward to it. A new single just released called Bad. That was what we played on the vibes right in the intro of this episode. If you guys heard that track, leave a comment in the comment section below. What's your favorite XXX song? Again, sad we lost Lil Peep, we lost XXX. I know Lil Peep has a bonus track on Come Over When You're Sober Part 2. He has a bonus track with XXX. I know briefly we were reading up on it. The track was touched on. They were both recording it, and then sadly XXX passed away. But you can tell that it's unfinished, but it's a nice track. The track is called Falling Down with XXX. There's not a lot of information on this new album yet of when it's going to be released. Hopefully it is released this year. the end of this year. If not, then we'll be welcoming 2019 with the XXXTentacion's album Skinned, and we can do a little review on it. I'll play a little snippet. Again, sadly, XXX passed away before they can finish it.
Well, Lil Peep passed first in 2017. From what I read in the article that I was reading, Lil Peep and his producer were working on it in London. I think X got a snippet of it, wanted to be a part of it, and recorded some parts to it. Then Lil Peep passed. And then when they were putting this project together, yeah, XXX's family noted that XXX was passionate about the song and they wanted to finish it. So, the both parties linked up and they completed it for Lil Peep's album, Come Over When You're Sober Part 2.
Nice.
But yeah, and then
they realized that they both had a lot in common, and X regrets that they didn't make songs in the past, or that he didn't know of Lil Peep.
So that little interview snippet in the track is actually from XXX talking about Lil Peep in an interview after Peep's passing. But yeah, I mean that's a great record. Rest in peace Lil Peep, rest in peace XXXTentacion. We maybe will do more if y'all interested. Let us know. Or we may just do it on our own and do like a deeper dive on another episode. Into Lil Peep's album, and definitely XXX's when that drops, for sure. So yeah, switch gears a little bit. Trippie Redd, he's another artist I've ignored because of his antics and because of his looks, the tatted face, the colored hair, the whole thing. I just kind of dismissed him as like a 6ix9ine type artist, the mumble type artist, without ever giving him a chance. I took the time after listening to Lil Peep's song, and then I saw Trippie Redd dropped an album, and I was just like, let me see what these young kids are really connecting to. And I listened to it. While it's not my taste in music, again, I understand it. I get it. One thing I felt was very similar between all three of these artists, Trippie Redd, Lil Peep, and XXXTentacion. Sonically, the three of them are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The vocals are similar. The type of music is similar. And in looking into this, I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I guess I didn't know it was actually a subgenre of like emo rap, because I feel like that's always been.
And I mean, this is news to me, but like if we're gonna label that, then we'll have to put Joe Budden as like the Godfather.
Yeah, man, the whole Mood Music series is fucking
because
emo, if you want to consider that. But emo is just, I feel like that's a label that gets misconstrued. I feel like it gets not interpreted properly.
I agree.
But all it means is emotion, right? So a lot of times when there's artists talking about things like depression, and sadness and introspective, negative. No, not negative. That's
going through the motions.
Yeah, those kind of records are considered emo, which is just emotional, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I feel like it's a mislabel.
That's the best kind of music, honestly, in my opinion. I know it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, even
to have to say that, but I feel like when the artist is in pain or very emotional, driven by a topic or something, it delivers. It shows on their song. You know what I'm saying? It's there, and it projects, and you can feel it through the speakers, and it's just amazing.
Well, yeah, it's a sad thing about art, right? Like artists are unfortunately at their best when they're in pain. But I also feel like that's kind of what I guess we could relate to on a deeper level more, right? So Trippie Redd, I learned was under this emo label, which I didn't realize at all. So I, again, have not listened to anything from Trippie Redd prior to this project, which is Love Letter to You 3. I read the little, those little description of the albums in iTunes and stuff, and I realized they had like some question and answer things with him, which was interesting to read. And yeah, so we're gonna get into this reaction. We have heard some songs a little bit, but not much. So you still get reaction, and we'll go into some lyrics. And yeah, so let's get into it. I think we'll start with Toxic Waste.
Okay.
All right, so just off that, sonically it's pleasing to the ear.
Yes.
Right. So I could definitely see why like this young generation is gravitating toward this sort of music. I do have to say it's a lot more melodic than the hip hop we grew up with.
Yeah.
It's more musically rounded. Like, there's more melodies, there's more like singing involved. So I get this generation likes it, right? So I get it. So now let's go into some of the lyrics, from here. The chorus: even though it isn't healthy, won't you help me? I need some more love, and I'm not myself. Please, won't you help me? I need some more love. I mean, there's not much to break down there, but it is, that's content, right? Recognizing whatever it is isn't healthy. So what's the name of this? Toxic. It's about a toxic relationship, right? So even though this relationship isn't healthy, he's asking for help, and he needs love. So he's asking for love, which is a very vulnerable thing to do. Like, that's not when I looked at Trippie Redd and I had my when I was just judging based on cover and appearances and what I saw in media and stuff, I wouldn't expect lyrics like this from him.
Right? I've heard songs from the past from him. I know he has a song with XXX. I know he's done some songs too. So like this is not like the first time I've heard of him or.
What do you think about the song with Triple X that he had?
I liked it.
Yeah, and then he switches up his verse. Don't want nobody to save me. Oh baby, take me, fix me, then break me. Don't want nobody to save me. Oh baby, take me, fix me, and then break me. So this right here is one of my issues with current artists, right? It's a lot of repetition.
Yeah, that's my issue too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like what they're saying. Like, I like what he's saying here. I like the message and the emotion behind it. But I just feel like it lacks creativity. Not sonically, again. Like sonically, it's creative. It's different. It's melodic. It sounds great. Like, it sounds good to the ear. But lyrically, I feel like that's where the creativity is lacks. And that's where I feel like this generation is missing the boat a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, fix me, then break me. Isn't that the cycle of a toxic relationship, right? You feel broken, you feel fixed, and when times are good, and then when it's bad, you feel like that person breaks you. And then he goes from asking for help to then saying, don't want nobody to save me. So he wants to stay stuck in this, right? In this loop, in this toxic cycle of, the relationship that he's talking about. And then, he says it explicitly in the next couple lines. He says, toxic love, I'll give you all my trust. I'll give you all myself just to make sure you're mine. I'm saying toxic love, I'll give you all my trust. I'll give you all myself just to make sure you're mine. So again, the repetition. That's probably my big issue with this record. We'll see what lies in the rest of the album. But I get what he's saying though. Right? Toxic love, I'll give you all my trust, I'll give you all myself just to make sure you're mine. Like, that's very toxic right there, that possession. Like, I'll give you all of me just to make sure that you're mine.
Yeah.
And stating that it's, he recognizing that that's toxic. And that's pretty much the gist of that record. So, get into that one. Negative Energy. Nah, I ain't rolling.
I'm good.
I ain't rolling. I don't think that was Trippie though. That was
was
that Cody? Was that the feature?
Yeah, that was the feature.
Feel like Steve O, see a pussy nigga through the peephole, hit him with the beam though, diamond shine, hit him with the gleam though. That's just very generic, rap. You ain't saying nothing. But they won't find me like Nemo. That was a weak ass bar.
Yeah. Might as well. My bar must say, I wreck it like Ralph.
He follows up with that, yeah, taking that bitch straight to Mickey D's, for real. She want a burger and a 10-piece, for real. But the chorus, so I'm gonna read the chorus from Trippie Redd, right? This shit just fill up my energy, made me just feel like my enemy. It might just turn into my inner beast. Know we tote choppers, we in the streets, you niggas got fucked up energy. Come on, big dog, where you want to meet. So he's just talking street shit. But those first couple bars, you know, this shit just fill up my energy, made me just feel like my enemy. All right, so you know, you getting that negative energy, so you around that, so that's what you attracting, and that's what you're becoming. And the rest of it is really just generic, not so. Yeah, this track I ain't rolling. See, so negative energy is kind of, honestly, that's the type of shit I would expect from Trippie Redd before I listen to Toxic Waste.
I know XXX talks about that stuff too. You know, where's your energy at?
Well, everybody. I mean, even artists we like. But that's what I would figure, just, you know, judging Trippie Redd, that most of his content would be like. But then I heard Toxic Waste and I was a little bit thrown back. The next song we'll jump into is Love Scars 3.
The first one I think is what I heard, Love Scars.
Alright, so again, this is
production on point.
Yeah, and lyrics so far is great. Sonically, again, it's this like this singing, which is, it sounds good, like on this record, right? But let's get into that first verse a little bit, right? Your love is a drug I'd like to try today. Your love from above, I need it always. You the reason why I'm waking up smiling. I could really give two fucks about a diamond. No matter what, when we together, babe, we shining. To the top, baby, we climbing, yeah. And then he says, you ain't going nowhere, like 5 times.
Yeah.
So again, like, why? You could have given us 5 more, you know, bars. But yeah, your love is a drug I like to try today. That's, you know, very basic metaphor, but I get it. Good. You know, that's, you know, decent bar. Your love from above, I need it always. You're the reason why I'm waking up smiling. I could really give 2 fucks about a diamond. So obviously he either doesn't care about money or doesn't care about marriage per se. Yeah, that could mean a couple things. No matter what, when we together, baby, shining. So I, you know, it's cool. I'm rolling. But that's the only verse on the record.
That's what I'm saying. They're too short.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's weird.
Hit us with another one. It's Wonder Man. That's funny.
I don't think Wonder Man is a thing, but I'll give it to you for trying to be creative. Right. I don't know how to feel about that. There were a couple bars I'm like, this is trash, and then a couple bars was like, it's decent.
I'm gonna play Diamond Mines featuring Tory Lanez, which is a name that I'm familiar with.
Tory Lanez, yes.
So let's see.
Know my mind worth more than diamonds and gold. That's a dope bar.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, you know, self-explanatory, nothing there. And he says, pussy nigga, fuck your life. Basic, but, you know, I got you. Pussy, fuck your life. Cross me, it's like suicide. We be shooting shit like Columbine. I know you reacted to that. You reacted to that. That was a tough bar. You've been sleeping on me like lullabies. I'm just really trying to know your mind. Elliot though, let's break down Elliot's verse, because he actually, this verse, see, shit like this makes me want to check out artists out more. Like Elliot comes in, I'm just really trying to know your mind. It's harder trying to find love on a mission. For me, that's like, it's hard trying to find love on a mission. I guess when you're trying to find it, it's hard to find.
Yeah. Right?
So love is something that should just happen naturally. And when you're looking for it, I just feel like you don't find it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I feel like he's saying there. So that's a dope bar, right? Because you could get into a whole big thing. Then he says, you've been way too distant. I tried to tell you I rock with you, baby. You ain't want to listen. Yo, so he's getting it in. Yo, this verse is hard. Right? I tried to tell you rock with me, baby. You ain't want to listen. Now you say I'm acting different. So he's trying to tell this girl, yo, you know, rock with me. I got this. Whatever the case is, like, we good. But she ain't want to listen, so obviously she was acting a certain way, right? Because she wasn't listening, and now you say he's acting different. Well, you ain't listening, so now you mad at the switch up, right?
Yeah.
And then shorty, I got so much weight on me. I need you to wait on me. So, like, he got so much shit on his shoulders, right? This shit, whatever it is weighing him down. He got weight on him that he needed, you know, his girl to wait for him. Like, yo, I'm coming, but I got shit to deal with, right? So just wait for me. And, you know, he's over here thinking he got it. You know, that shit is all cool. He's over here trying to build. You know, the girl's telling him, you know, that she misses him, and now she's all up in, you know, in her feelings. I guess that's a reference back to, you know, him acting different. So now she's like you know, in her feelings because of that. That was a dope verse though. Like that would make me want to look into Elliot Trent more.
I'm gonna play maybe one more track. Let's try Elevate and Motivate.
I was alright. He said in that verse, "Paper trail been applied, but ain't coming direct. Negativity hit so hard that shit'll blow out your chest." That's I get that. Like the negativity is coming, like it's so crazy. That shit just fucking blowing a hole in your chest. Criticism done left me scarred, but live my life in my best, and I never would tell a lie. Pride it inside of my quest. So yeah, criticism done left me scarred. So you know, obviously that's blatant, that's self-explanatory. But in spite of that, he's still trying to live his best life, and he would never tell a lie. Pride it inside of my quest. So he's making it a point to never lie, right? He's trying to be honest in everything he says. I guess everything he does. Loyalty over royalty. I'm gonna die for respect. I respect that basic bar, but I get them like you know that was cool. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve. I wear that shit in my chest. That was a dope bar. I thought that was cool. Trying to play your cards right, but you ain't got a good deck. That was tough. I like that bar a lot actually, because you could try to play your shit, but if your deck is, if you don't have a good deck, you can't play good cards, right?
Nope.
So it depends on not only the hand you dealt, I guess, but the deck that you're dealing with. You know, you might be missing a couple aces, ain't shit you can do.
Missing that ace.
So in the description, he talks about a song called "I Tried Loving," and he said that it's about depression. So he was almost gonna title it "I Tried Loving Myself." So let's bump that real quick, and then we'll move on. Painkiller in the skies, I can't feel a thing off the perks. So again, you know, this generation's issue, with taking drugs to kind of solve their emotional issues, just giving them more fucking emotional issues like depression, which this song is about. A couple bars, I can't feel, trying to figure out if this shit is real. I can't feel, trying to figure out if this shit is real. Rocket got them pints, not for real, trying to pop me a motherfucking seal. Big dripping pussy nigga, real slit. Overall, I mean, Trippie Redd's project, it seems like there's a couple songs I could bump. It seems like there's half of it that I'm not really fucking with for reasons that I don't fuck with a lot of like the new shit.
But we're always open. That's the thing.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to be more open, and really looking at the lyrics. Again, one of my big issues is just the constant repetition. But I mean, overall, again, not my cup of tea, not my really taste in music. Even the songs that I'm like, yeah, they're cool. I can see why people would like those. A lot of songs, though, I just don't understand why people would like them. But that's just, you know, my opinion on this project.
All right, moving forward to
featuring J. Cole. You want to bump a 30-second little bit?
Yes.
All right, no copyright infringement, fair use, please, please, please. Sojourner featuring J. Cole, Rhapsody. That's J. Cole? He's wildin'.
Yeah. We gotta break that verse down too.
Yeah. Oof. Maybe that's the reason I spent decades seeking fame and fortune, hoping that a proper portion would contain. Yeah, that's the shit right there.
Starting off, J. Cole says, born into pain, alcoholic veins, over analytical brain, product of the shame, and running from the past. Third, somewhere along the way, somebody snatched my peace and main. What about the 2 bars?
That shit is tough. I mean, born into pain, alcoholic veins. I mean, just because of my personal experiences, I take that bar a certain way.
The reason I spent decades seeking fame, music business, all their questions were insane. Why you never smile in your pictures? I refrain. For giving you the answer, because the answer
wasn't plain. I feel like that's like, you know, a happiness thing. Like, you know, why don't you smile in pictures? It wasn't plain. Like, it wasn't a simple answer. So he wouldn't answer it because it was gonna be too deep. But back to the like original bars too, right? Born into pain, alcoholic veins. So I guess because he, you know, born into pain, he experienced a lot of pain. He turned to alcohol, possibly. He was born to alcoholic parent or parents, and that shit was already in his veins when he was born.
Yeah.
Right. So kind of like you born addicted type thing, but instead of drug, he's making alcohol reference. And then when he says running from a past that's checkered like the game, that's like a simile, like a checkered board. You know what I'm saying? So he's making that little metaphor. And then he goes on. He talks about the situation, which I wonder if it's true or not. It'd be interesting. He says, "See my mama with the pistol pointed at her dome, and how in the fuck do you expect for me to ever be the best Lil me that I can be when trauma's deep inside of me, like IV fluid pumping through the blood of wifey while she's giving birth?"
That sounds like it could be a truth because of he just had a daughter, right? So he's describing,
his mom attempting suicide.
We don't know. It could be as deep as that. I know there was a song, I think it's on KOD, where he talks about
his mom's alcoholic issues, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he says, "See my mama with the pistol pointed at her dome, and how in the fuck do you expect for me to be the best Lil me? What can I do when trauma's deep inside of me?" So that's relatable. Not that exact situation per se, but if you've ever been through a traumatic experience when you're a child, like how do you expect a child to be the best them, right? He says the best Lil me that I can be when trauma's deep, when you go through some shit like that. And then he makes the metaphor and the switch, which is dope and technically great. He says, like IV fluid. So deep inside of me, like IV fluid pumping through the blood of wifey while she's giving birth. So that's just crazy how he puts it, he puts in like a juxtaposition the suicidal attempt of his mom with the birth of his child.
Could you remember the whole past thing where they say, for everybody who dies, there's somebody born?
Yeah. So that's a really nice image right there. After that smile line, he says some shit. He says, "Enough for me to see, cause at the time I knew my name, but didn't know myself. And so I dealt with shit the same as a fugitive. But running from the truth and shit, I shoot the shit with niggas, but they never knew the shit that's hidden deep within the crevices, like ever since I was a child." And that's when he talks about, his name, but didn't know myself.
Yeah. Who are you?
That shit was tough. Like, how many of us really do know ourselves? Like, you take the time to really get to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's some deep shit. And so he dealt with shit the same as a fugitive, right? So how do fugitives deal with shit? They run away. Right? He was just run away from everything. And this shit is cool. I would shoot the shit with niggas, but they never knew the shit that's hidden deep. So shoot the shit. Like, he would go talk shit, be cool with his friends. Everything would be, all fucking fine on the surface, but
deep down inside,
they ain't knew the shit that was deep underneath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which again links back to why you can't smile, because the answer's not plain. These bars I love. These are probably some of my favorite bars from this verse. He says, "And I'm sort of heartbroken because the elders lost hope in our youth. And here I sit dead in the middle, not a little boy no more, but not quite old yet, waking up in cold sweats, scared that I'm too disconnected from the kid's perspective. The world ain't got no patience for some shit that's introspective. So where the fuck that leave me? Irrelevant, I guess. Went from heaven to hella bent, intelligent but stressed. Damn."
Yo.
Bars. Yo, I'm sort of heartbroken because elders lost hope in our youth, and he has to sit dead in the middle. So J. Cole's in this weird position, right? Because he's not an old head. He's not an OG quite yet.
Remember when he was coming in? I think it was around Born Sinner dropped. He was still figuratively considered young.
Yeah.
New, like, you know what I'm saying? So he was right there, and I remember in one of the songs, he was like, matter of fact, in Miss America, when he was like, only young niggas do it better than the old niggas. He was talking to him about himself at that time.
Right, because he was new. That was, the class of Kendrick, Cole, Drake.
And we got now the Trippies, you know what I'm saying, the 6ix9ines, these young kids now. Cole is in the middle, but he's not like J, M. He's not,
Nas.
Count the oldies yet.
Yeah.
He's in the middle now, so now he's like...
Yeah, kind of like where does he fit in, right? Not quite old yet, waking up in cold sweats, scared that I'm too disconnected from the kid's perspective. The world ain't got no patience for some shit that's introspective. That shit is crazy, right? And that's kind of how we feel sometimes, honestly. Like, cause
we're not all the time.
We're not fucking. Again, we may talk like we're fucking 40, but we're not. Like, we're not even 30 yet. But at the same time, I don't understand what these, late teen, early 20 kids is gravitating towards, which is why we're trying to be more open to that generation's music to see like what's their perspective. What are they going through in life that's making them be drawn to this shit, right? To that music. And the world ain't got no patience for some shit that's introspective. How true is that? We on, everything is fucking clips, right? Everything moves so fast. This world don't have patience no more. So everything is just, it comes and goes. So the world don't have some, time for shit that's introspective. Like the world doesn't have time to look at it. I mean, this could be in so many things. Yeah. Like people don't have time to be introspective anymore. People don't have time to find themselves, as he alluded to earlier in the verse. People don't have time to look into the deeper meaning of things, right? That shit, yeah, that's a deep ass bar. And then so he feels like, this leaves him to be irrelevant because he's like in this kind of limbo. And then I love this, went from heaven sent to hella bent, that play on heaven and hell, intelligent but stressed. Damn, now ain't that the truth, bro? Yeah. I feel like the more you know, the more intelligent you are, the more fucking shit you got in your brain, the more stressed out you are. I guess ignorance is bliss at times, right? And let's get into Rhapsody's verse a little bit. Let's show her some love, right? Mm-hmm. She comes in, verse 2, permanent vacation for forever. Some things you gotta leave behind. Some people just like weather. Whew. Right? I mean, that's self-explanatory, but you got you. Some things you just gotta keep it moving. Weatherman forecasts me dead last. Think I'm just another nigga. Maybe I'll be the next Black Beetle like Swaley.
That's funny.
And she says, yeah, I know my worth. These colonizers gotta pay me. Yeah, I gotta go first because the rest would never last. I had to show the positives for those that couldn't add. Ooh, that was bars.
Breaking down math right
there. So I know my worth. These colonizers got to pay me. So she's like, yo, these white people in power gotta pay her because she knows what she's worth.
Hell yeah, right? Know your worth.
These colonizers, I love that metaphor. And then I had to go first because the rest would never last. I had to show the positives for those that couldn't add. Positive, add, math. Get it? That was tough. That was a bar. And then she continues with the addition metaphors, right? Looking at the ads, they only love us if our ass out, and so I'm out. I got an Audi and it's bad. So yeah, I mean, looking at again the way media portrays, minorities, black women, they only love us if our ass out, and so she's out. Like I ain't having no part of that. Like I got an Audi. Like I'm
that's
out.
funny, right? Because like it could mean she has like an Audi for her belly button. She has an Audi car, or she's Audi like peace.
Yo, I like that. Yeah, triple entendre with the Audi brand. Word, that was dope. That was a ball. I said that line because niggas only respect you if you brag. Oof, it don't work on me the same. Don't give a fuck about what you have. That was so hard. Yo, Rhapsody's killing this shit. Right, so she only threw that Audi line because she's like, yo, you only respect it if I talk about materialistic shit. That's the only way you gonna listen. That's the only way you gonna give me time, right? But in reality, she don't give a fuck about it. No. Like, she's just trying to get the message through that materialistic metaphor. And then she goes on, everybody claiming boss, none of you niggas got no staff. It don't measure up the same. What's a quarter to a half of a whole lot of problems? Nigga, who taught you to add? Where I'm from, we don't recognize that it's good math if you don't teach the ones that's coming up to multiply their cash.
And we talked about that too briefly.
We did. Styles P talked about that a little bit on the Beloved album, and we talked about those bars. J. Cole mentions it in this song again about teaching the youth, but you don't teach the ones that's coming up to multiply their cash. Like they getting money, but we're not showing them what to do with it, and I could easily go, right? Mm-hmm. And then you don't build wealth, and that's just kind of like this cycle. Think for themselves, think beyond sales. Everything with worth don't come with some whistles and some bells. Woo! Mm-hmm. So bells and whistles, right? Like everything that's worth something, it ain't gonna come with, all these guidelines and all this other shit. And to think for yourself, nobody thinks for themselves no more. All right, and everybody just wants to talk about sales, like who did what numbers, da da da. Like that, yeah. That's what matters more. Then she continues, the ones I gotta leave behind, the ones you gotta bail. Meek Mill, I'm working hard, ain't too far from a Meek Mill. That was tough to play on Meek's name.
With a million.
Yeah, that ain't too far from a Meek Mill. So, short mill. She's like right there, right? She continues, and I'm gonna tell you, black on black murder been whack. Ninth turn me up so they can hear me in the back. Yeah, that's pretty hard for me, but you see hopeful niggas in where they all ought to be. Scared to grow wings, Birdman with a bunch of Carter beef. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole black on black murder been whack night, you know what I'm saying? Like getting that message out, of course. And she said, that's old news. Look, nigga, you talking to modern me, smarter. We had better conversations sitting with barbers.
Hell yeah, yo. There was nothing like those barber conversations.
For real. Putting hearts and heads in niggas who don't think ahead. Who taught you? Putting hearts and heads in niggas who don't think ahead. Who taught you? So she's like, yo, we were teaching the people under us, like, well, who's teaching you? Like, I guess questioning that to this generation, I guess, right? Like, who taught you? Because we put the hearts and heads in the ones who weren't thinking ahead. So when we saw that, we try to give them the knowledge, but like nobody's teaching them now. And she said, school y'all, welcome to the schoolyard. Teach you how to make moves without needing the U-Haul. I was like, but yeah, those were some highlights from Rhapsody's verse. That was a dope track.
Definitely check out that track if you guys haven't heard it yet. Definitely look into it if you guys did. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Keep us posted with what you like, your favorite verses, the topics that we talked about. If we missed anything, let us know. We'll be happy to retouch on it on another later episode.
Yeah. So that was some of the new music that's come out recently. Again, if there's anything out that you want us to review or comment on, let us know. You can hit us up on Twitter or comment below. I think, do we got anything else for today?
Yeah, I think that was everything. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week for another episode of Live from 95. All right, keep on subscribing, keep on checking your YouTube feeds. We're on Twitter, we're on iTunes, we're on Facebook, we're on SoundCloud, we're everywhere.
Yeah, show your love again. Let us know you like what we're doing, so we keep doing it. And subscribe, share, all that. And again, thank you to all the views, all the subscribers thus far. We appreciate it. Love, peace, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Stay live.